Who needs a plan? Hi guys, and welcome to Fact Vs Fiction ? This week.
It's the special.
We should have called it question mark edition, as my voice breaks.
Question mark edition, yeah.
Question mark edition.
This
Fact versus
is
fiction.
a very special
Question
week.
mark edition. Special week where once a month we're going to bring you nothing. It's not fact. It's not fiction. It's just something that interests us, and it's going to be semi-themed around a particular topic. This week, John suggested, or this month, I should say, John suggested that we do cryptids and that kind of thing. So we've all picked.
I was going to say, wait, there was a theme.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
So to clarify,
I have themed the few things I've picked, but I didn't know we had a theme.
To clarify, I said, I kind of want to do like a mythic monster thing one time, and everyone said, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We're going to do it too. Like, oh, what?
Clearly, I haven't been
Basically
listening,
what
and I thought it was
to
a
the
theme.
theming.
Oh god. But yeah, take us away. I believe, John, as this was your suggestion, you are going to go first. Dun 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 dun.
He has volunteered you, please. Oh, by the way, my name's Corby, and I'm an alcoholic.
We haven't introduced ourselves. That's a very good point.
We should do that, yeah.
Yeah.
So my name's Corby. As I've said, I've said it now. I might as well own up to it. I'm an alcoholic, especially
Hello,
during
Corby.
this whole lockdown thing that's been going on.
Yeah, no, I've got worse for it, definitely.
This is just a thing that's happened. Anyway, we have another Tom who we
I'm
will address as
Tom Jordan. I write fiction and have a caffeine addiction.
Rhyming. Hey. You can't see my finger guns.
Okay, Matt, what are you addicted to?
My name's Matt, and I am addicted to digging myself into a hole with poorly phrased sentences.
God damn, he is.
True.
And John, what are you addicted to this week? Make it sound like it changes on a week-to-week basis.
He rolls a dice.
You joke, but I mean, like before it was weapons and chainmail, now it's just leather jackets and stuff. So I just.
Wow, that is an extreme.
Biker night will exist, all right? I've been thinking about this for a while. Biker night will live.
Oh, that's such a good. I need that image.
You'll get
Is
it
that-
soon.
I need
That
that
Man
fan
Rider in
art.
the next season of One Punch Man.
Hey, weep shit is my specialty. Stop.
It's a special
Yeah.
week, Tom. We can do what we want.
There's
That
no
is true.
rules
In this
this week.
case, it's theme.
The turns
Yeah,
have
some
indeed
rules this
tabled,
week.
and anything goes this week.
Oh, I guess without further ado, John, would you like to take us into your don't take us into your mind. That's a horrifying reality. Nobody
You
wishes
wouldn't get
to
out.
face. Oh God!
You've heard of Mind Palace. Now prepare for Mind
Mind
Gallipoli.
Dungeon.
Mind Gallipoli. I go to Australia, listeners.
You're going to get shot by an unmanned gun, because that's just how it works.
Oh my God! Yeah.
A grip gun will get you.
What have I started?
Well, World War One apparently. No, anyway, so I guess if I'm being chucked in first, let's go. I'm going a bit of a odd tangent this time with Mythic Monsters. Well, I'm going with ones that are more familiar with like Tatar and Slavic kind of myths. Because, well, most of the time people here won't have heard of them. Something new, give it a go. Why not? And because, let's face it, Corby's going to do something Japanese regardless, so that's out of the question.
You guessed it.
Yep. Anyway.
You know him so well.
I do. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to what the rest of you pick. Anyway, right. So my first, it's going to be a bit of. There's going to be a couple of names thrown at you here, simply because a lot of creatures like across like Turkey, Russia, Poland. A lot of them are very, very similar and have very similar names, but like have like slight differences, and like then they tend to go right. That one's called that one. That one's called that. Got it? But it's
Gotcha.
essentially they're all it's essentially like a common mythology that's kind of descended a bit.
It's like everyone
like-
had the same idea and then it got carried off into different.
Yeah, and everyone got their
areas.
local versions.
Yeah.
That's it. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the more like Tatar and Bashkir one, which is kind of like Turkey kind of area. The Surale, which is basically it's a particular shapeshifter that lives in forests, which is fairly typical. But this one, he's quite odd looking. He's got very long fingers, which you'll put to good use later. A horn on his. Yeah, no, trust me. It's
I
bad.
don't like that foreshadowing.
Okay.
It's bad.
He's going to turn off a light from across the room.
A horn in his forehead and a woolly body.
I'm imagining a man in a woolly rhino costume with particularly long gloves.
Yeah, basically, it's very odd. He
Delicately strokes your face.
basically he's a shapeshifter. He can turn to many different forms. You do see him as human occasionally. He's not the most. He doesn't. I don't think he's got the idea of what it means to actually be human, because, like, he when he disguises himself as a human, he looks like a peasant, but one who has glowing eyes, which is a bit of a giveaway.
Scary peasants.
And
when you're out at night and the farmers are farming away with their glowing eyes.
And his shoes are on backwards, which just makes me think he just doesn't quite understand how they work.
For his feet just sticking out the back of the heel.
Yeah, his feet are the right way around, but his shoes are backwards. It
just doesn't work.
I know, it's just like.
But why though?
It's just flapping behind his.
You can hear him coming by the flapping of the soles.
Now Surale has been described as its own creature, but it also been described as a type of Leshy. And Leshy are they're more famous. They're like to do Russia and Polish. They literally.
I was going to say, is that what the Leshen is based off from The Witcher? Or?
A little bit, yeah. They're basically they're kind of almost like a bit more of a deity, but in Slavic mythology. But anyway, the name literally in Russian means from the forest. I mean, what can you do? It's always ominous as stuff when it's in Russian.
It's blunt and to the point and still sounds ominous.
But yeah, they're just basically they're always male, humanoid in shape. It's always male. They sometimes have horns. Some are surrounded by packs of wolves and bears, leshies. But in some accounts, describes having a wife and children. But the thing is, they love to lead travelers astray, as the Surale does. Sometimes people think that means he make him a bit evil, but he's a bit more, tends to be a bit neutral, but he's a bit more temperamental. Just don't annoy him, he'll be fine. But they
what qualifies as annoying when you're traveling? Is that maybe sliding your feet and leaving a trail, flicking some branches, pulling leaves down,
chewing very loudly right behind someone's ear?
Just don't set fire to the forest. And although there is
quite a broad criteria.
I feel like there was a bit of a leap. I feel like there was a bit of a leap between "don't be a dick" and "don't set the forest on fire."
But the funny thing about that is, when it comes to leshies themselves, they've got a weird thing where this is more the general one rather than the subterm. They've got a thing where they like to lead people astray, but for some reason, all the ones of these myths, the Leshi, Surale, other various types like the bloody the Akuli, Pitsen, all these, it's basically very similar creatures from the different regions. They all have a thing where basically, if they will try and get you lost in the woods, but the way to deal with it is to put your clothes on inside out, and possibly put your shoes on different feet.
How does that work?
I don't know.
I remember all the times that I got lost and looked down and was like, "Oh, my clothes are on the right way round." That must be why.
And I remember there's a particularly interesting thing. It says if the leshies worry you and stuff like that, you can do the inside out clothes thing, sure. Another method that might work is possibly to set the forest on fire, so he has to go save himself and his family, so he can't bother you. Which is so dark and Russian, I can't believe it.
It seems like a bit of an overreaction.
Don't set our forest on fire, or we'll hurt you. Oh, I've gotten you lost. Oh no, you've set my forest on fire. I was just shooting itself in the foot.
Yeah. I was going to bring up the fact that with the clothes inside out one, in the Siberian wastes, that can just kill a man.
Yeah, no, it's.
Oh no, I need to clear my clothes inside out, and I've frozen to death.
Well, it's like the clothes inside out will still give you the same protection.
Yeah.
It's just the point changing is the most dangerous point.
That is the issue, yeah. And
that's why the people in the Dyatlov past vanished.
But the
Leshy.
No, the Leshy, it said it can shapeshift, but that one can actually properly, it's described as changing size as well. It's just changing form. It can grow basically a blade of grass to the size bigger than a tree.
You can just be stalked by a tiny man with long fingers the size of a blade of grass, and you're just getting tickled on the back of your leg. That's those itches that you like on the bottom of your leg that you can never, see what's
the phantom itches.
A blade of grass scratching your leg.
I'm not.
Leshies go along.
I'm not denying anything, but
John, owner of Leshies.
No. Anyway, but yeah.
What's that blade of grass in the background, John?
My God, it's growing. What is that?
Oh my God, John, it's tickling you with its long finger.
Its shoes on backwards.
What? You see its shoes? We can't see John's lower half.
That's by design.
His lower half is the desk.
Wait, did you just imply that the bottom half of John is a desk?
Yes, I did.
He's just trying to get me.
John's
He's just trying to get a crotch shot out of me. To be honest, that's what
I was going to say John's now
You
half
spoiled
Swedish.
me.
Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, back from the general myth of the Leshy and going back to particularly the Surale. The Tatar one.
What's
Anyway.
the difference, like visually speaking, between the Leshy and the Surale? Are they...
Leshy, as said, they can grow massively tiny, and they can, but they tend to look more like they almost got like grass kind of growing on them. They tend to be a bit more woodland spirit, while Surale's just a bit woolly. And
stolen a sheep and put it on.
Yeah, but obviously he can shapeshift, and I think the Leshy has learned when he turns into a person not to have glowing eyes because he's not an idiot. But.
Sat down for a council meeting between the Leshies and the Surale. It's like, you should really stop having glowing eyes.
But yeah,
Can't help it.
Surale
It's my best feature.
Surale
I'm not that good at druid yet.
They haven't leveled high enough.
No, Surale are interesting because they, if you manage to befriend them in some way, they can actually teach you various secrets of magic, which is always interesting.
They teach you to wear your shoes backwards without having the problem of your feet sticking out.
No, I'm saying way too. You won't need to. Or whatever the hell the mate
You won't need feet.
Yeah.
To pull like a long string of handkerchiefs out of your sleeve.
Yeah.
What level of magic are we talking?
There's a bloody.
How to set a forest on fire.
Dummy's guide. Just hand you a book or flint and tinder.
God, Surale, there's talks about people in the region making like pacts with this particular Leshy to protect their crops and their sheep, and just to don't get me lost in the forest, please. Like, all right.
Do people worship and give offerings and stuff?
Well, I think it's but people are still quite afraid of it because it's like get lost in the forest. Occasionally does pranky stuff like hide in woodcutters' axes and stuff like that.
Hide in their axes?
Yeah. Hide in their axes, not hide inside.
Hiding, not hiding.
Christ, man.
You're gonna get inside this axe and jump out. It'll be so good.
Boom! Look. But yeah, they do. But yeah, they have many. They, as it said, you know you've lost in the woods because if Surale has crossed your path, you go, "Oh, I'm lost." It's not me who did this; it's the Surale. Now, quick! I've got to change my clothes inside out and put my shoes the wrong way around. Off I go.
Self-denial that you could be that bad.
It's so the logic is so Russian. It's
but this is like the Tatar Bashkir mythology, that kind of region. It's not Ukraine, but kind of near. I think I want to say east of that region. Yeah. Anyway,
Belarus kind of area.
That's west.
Oh, yeah. Crimea. Was that south?
Crimea's south.
Matt's geography is poor.
You've played EU4 with us. You should know these things.
Doesn't mean I've learned.
Basically, it's quite a bit east of Turkey. Basically, everything. Yeah, past the Caspian Sea. Anyway, all right, but with them, they the Surale have its main thing. The thing it's famous for, basically, is it's got those long fingers because the way actually, if it does try and get angry at people and decides to kill them, it tickles them to death.
Jesus
oh my god,
Christ.
I was right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, oh god, I'm lost in the forest. I've got to turn my clothes inside out so I can get away from the tickle monster that haunts the medieval forests of...
Mr. Men took a dark turn.
The tickle Russian vacation.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Mr. Tickle is a Leshin. Oh,
Mr.
God.
Tickle after dark.
Well, he's a Surale, but there's a particular Tatar poet called Bagdullah Tukay. He did a story about it. It's a story about a woodcutter, a young woodcutter. He goes to the forest, gathers some wood, starts felling basically, he starts felling trees, putting timber in the cart, typical woodcutter stuff. One of the pieces is way too big for the cart, and he tries to split it in half, so he basically puts a wedge in, he cuts a slit in it and puts a wedge into it. Suddenly, Surale appears and just says, "Hey, you, I want a tickle fight. I'm not going to leave until I get a tickle fight."
I'm imagining just Cockney
when that
standing arms crossed by the cart.
Yeah, no,
tickle fight, mate.
No,
Hey, not getting in the club
tickle
till
me.
you tickle me, mate.
The woodcutter tries to ignore him, but he basically can't because he just won't shut up about it. He's not going to let him go. So the woodcutter relents after a lot of pleading. Basically says, "Okay, fine, yeah, I will tickle fight you whatever you want, but just help me split this log first." So I'm like, you're strong. Just put your bloody fingers in the slit here, and we'll open it. We'll wedge it open. Surale does, as is agreed, and he instantly just takes the wedge out, and basically his fingers get caught in the trunk, and the woodcutter just goes haha and promptly fucks off, and just leaves. He leaves, but as he leaves, there's a weird kind of twist on the Polyphemus tale with Odysseus, where he says, "My name is nobody." He tells the Surale that his name is last year, which is must be a really like cultural thing there, because when help comes for the Surale, he says no one knows who did the. He basically says it last year did this or something, and everyone's like, that's funny.
What?
Yeah, and they basically come along and just laughed him, and that's essentially one of the stories about the Surale. That the Surale gets like the worst of it gets the worst, gets the better of it, but most of them it tends to be like, oh, you heard about Boris? Tickled to death. Forest. It's just
families are too proud to say that he got lost in the woods and froze to death.
I think that's what it is. It's just like,
to death. Which
Surale guy.
In terms of like cool deaths, I feel like being frozen to death.
That is a cool death, Tom. It's very cold when you're freezing to death.
Very cool, yeah.
Little tisk.
To clarify, these myths and stuff tend to come more from the Urals, basically that neck of the woods.
I thought you said the urinals for a minute. I was like,
no.
the graffiti on the bathroom walls has got real specific lately.
Yeah, Tom. If someone in a bathroom asks you for a tickle fight, don't.
Why are you directing this at
Oh,
Corby
believe me, I know.
Because you talk.
Us two can agree.
Is this how you came out of Spiders with that extra money that one time?
Probably.
Look, all right, I don't know what happened that night, but it wasn't anything.
Neither do I. That's the concerning fact.
Even Tom doesn't know how he got the money.
I thought it meant him. I thought it meant me. All right, fair enough. Okay. Does that happen to multiple people? Okay, I guess it's happened. Okay, fair enough.
Maybe it's just that club. There's something about it.
It just happens when you're in Spiders. It's just a thing.
They make mad profit.
Mad profits, bro.
But yeah, it's like looking up, just clicking through the various like Tatar spirit stuff, like Abada, Artura, all of them seem to be able to be thwarted by swapping your clothes inside out and putting your shoes on opposite feet. It seems to be just a classic. Let's deal with this, and I don't understand why. And
I feel like everyone's just too lazy to think of something else. It's like, oh no, something evil spirit. I don't know, just do what we do for the other one and see.
I'm not gonna lie. I've just thought it through, and my brain went, if you find like someone who's gone out into the woods and like they've frozen to death and their clothes are inside out, then that's just like that just makes them seem fucking insane. Maybe it's just a ploy to get more people to look insane as they freeze to death in the woods.
Maybe it's a cunning murder ploy.
Okay, but it seems like there's so many like Tatar spirits that are shapeshifters in the woods that occasionally get people lost, and just you have to take your clothes inside out to deal with, and it's just right here we go, Abada, that one once again looks like a peasant with glowing eyes and his shoes are on backwards. Great. Oh, this one's got blue skin most of the time.
I feel like people are just scared of the peasantry in Russia. Which,
some peasants just be like that.
Wouldn't you be? I mean, look what happened.
Well,
but yeah. Anyway, so Tatars are the mythology is somewhat imaginative, but only in select areas.
Started off well and then just kind of plateaued very early.
Next time I'll talk about a Groot slang, maybe. But yes, we'll go for we'll carry on for that. But that's pretty much the end of the Surale and the Leshy and the Tekle fights.
You've killed them all off. You've burned them alive. You've burned down their forests.
There's a coin that was like made in 2013. That was it's on a Kazakh 5010 coin, and it's got the Surale and the woodcutter on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Really good detail. It's pretty.
That's awesome.
It's a really pretty coin.
What do Surale's fingers look like? Are they just longer fingers?
Very long,
yeah. Just really long.
Just
They're not like clawed or anything.
No, just really long fingers.
How are you spelling
you? Just tickles you
so me and the people at home can Google this?
What? Surale. It's okay. It's probably easiest to Google Surale. There's a lot of accents and umlauts and the kind of thing there, but that will get you to the.
Oh, I googled it, and like the coin is here on the right hand side.
Yeah, no, that one.
That's really nice.
It's a really nice coin. Yeah.
Also, this image, oh fucking boy.
Which one's that?
In the chat. Right?
Hold on, I'm gonna copy it into our Discord so we can look at it. Paste. Have a look at that motherfucker.
Oh, good God.
Oh wow! Oh my goodness!
It's an emaciated. It's an emaciated Gruffalo.
I'll have you know that's not technically accurate, for he has 2 horns, not 1.
There's actually just another one standing directly behind him.
Let's not go there again. That is something the public don't know about.
Oh god, there's one here that just looks like a demented cat. That's a furry, right?
I wouldn't want to meet that in a dark alley, or like in a wood, I guess.
I wouldn't want to meet that even in a well-lit alley.
I don't like the fact his neck has no fur on it.
It's like
He would certainly win in a tickle fight, though.
Yeah, no.
Look at those fingers.
It's literally, if you enter into a tickle fight, you will die. That is it. There's no getting away. Do not agree to a tickle fight.
Bony, rigid, long. The ladies love him. Whoa.
So, I'm not sure if there's a metaphor for this story. I guess it's just don't trust hairy men in the woods to not kill you after they tickle you.
Yeah, no, that's
I thought
that's
the
good advice to go by.
I thought the metaphor was just always going to the woods with your clothes inside out.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's an action where, like, the action of turning the clothes inside out does it, or if your clothes are already inside out, it's like, well, got to turn
You
right
are
around
immune to
again.
the effect, or
Yeah.
Or do you have to turn your clothes the right way round, because technically inside out you have to turn them inside out, thusly the right way round when you.
what if you've got? You can get those jackets that'll like you flip them inside out and it's still a working jacket.
They don't have an inside out, in which case you're lost and you're gonna die.
this is why forward thinking gets us Tom
inside
nowhere.
out.
Oh god, I'm lost the words. I'm gonna die. Hey, is that my axe?
Oh wow! Thank you for that.
I will
John. I'm gonna
certainly be
tickle
wary
nightmares
next
this
time
evening.
I go for a hike in the woods.
Honestly,
no
I'd go
words
just
in
for
Doncaster.
just the physical interaction at this point.
You just want the tickling. Is that it? Is this a metaphor for how much you love to give?
I can't
and receive
accept the tickle
tickles?
fight. I have to social distance.
But I got really long arms.
That's the point.
Really long fingers. Perfect for social distance hugging. Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Corby, would you like to, away from Slavic mythology, take us to Japan?
would I to the mythical land of Nippon, where things are fucking weird?
There's so many fucking great. I mean,
There
I
are.
want to mention ones, just honorary mentions, but it's just like obviously I don't want it to be your thing, so I'm gonna wait.
I gotta say there are.
There is so much shit in that place.
There is.
I looked, and the Japanese mythology and everything else just runs deep. Like, I look at that shit, and I think, God, we really did get landed with the most boring religion on the planet.
Hey, the Celtic stuff was great. I mean, Christianity's
Celtic stuff is good, yeah.
I meant Catholicism.
Yeah. No offense to the
Or
Catholics.
Christianity.
But your religion sucks.
Yeah, but like when the moon god ate an entire feast and disgusted the sun god, then you just don't you don't compare.
Yeah.
Also, one man births 1,500 people a day.
That's got nothing on. I mean, Jesus has nothing on that with the turning one fish into many fish thing.
No.
It was 40, not 1,500.
What? Oh, right.
The Izanagi-Izanami thing.
Oh god.
But yes, so I went down a rabbit hole after watching an anime.
As usual.
That sounds usual.
Yeah,
Sounds usual.
that tracks.
And I've brought 3 things. They're not nearly as well researched as everything else, but I would like to leave it up to you 3 to decide. Do you want the weird one, the overly violent one, or the yokoi first? The first two are ghost stories.
Yokai are like the
Yokai?
demons of that world, aren't they?
Yokai.
Yeah,
Yokai
yokai
just-
demons.
Yokai are just basically like Japanese mythology creatures. They just call them yokai.
Yeah.
Oh,
they do.
okay, so it's
Everything's a yokai.
general term.
Yeah, that's like the colloquial term.
I've got to say, I'm interested in the overly violent one because I know the Japanese. Well, they've got quite. Let's say, face it, it's quite a violent culture anyway to start off with.
I'm gonna say,
Realistically,
yeah, the thing I noticed while reading a lot of the Japanese ghost stories is if you come into contact with a Japanese ghost, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, no,
There is no escape from these things.
It's the whole thing of like a ghost story Western, the Western culture. It's like, all right, here's the spirit. Here's how you attempt to deal with it, and it's like you might be okay if you follow these certain steps. It's like ghost story in Japan. Oh, you're haunted by this. Yeah, you're gonna die.
Very horrifically.
That's it. Sorry, that's it.
Tell me, how do you feel about your intestines being outside your body?
Like, I was gonna say, like, I wanted to open this week with the Ibitsu, but I didn't get a chance to reading through my manga again. So that will have to wait into if we do another good mythical morning. Speak.
Come on.
Good. Side note, good podcast. Go listen to it.
In which case, I think violent one then.
So yeah, the violent one.
You want to start? You want to start with the Akamanto?
Yes.
Of course.
Why wouldn't I want to start with the Akamanto? Sounds a bit like a mantis,
that's
and now
too
I fear for my head.
That's 2 words, by the way. Aka and Manto.
Gotcha.
So, depending on where you look, this ghost story is either translated as red cape or red vest, or the best one, in my opinion, red mantle. Red mantle sounds like a cool fucking ghost. I'm not gonna lie.
Or like a hero or a villain.
Oh yes, but
Yeah.
this ain't no fucking hero, my friend. So,
Right, no, remains to be seen.
this ghost will appear to people. This I don't know where to start other than to say, look, if you're sat in a public bathroom or a school bathroom, this ghost may appear to you.
Oh, good. It's one of those.
Oh, so it's
Yeah,
so everyone. Great.
yeah.
You've ever been to the toilet, then you're going to
them-
die.
It's like from the few pictures I googled, it's often depicted like wearing like a red like full like I want to say like cult robe kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I was to say cult robe / dressing gown. I don't know. And like a
Depends
yellow
if it's morning
mask.
I like the idea that it's a dressing gown because I'm then picturing a ghost with a cup of tea just in the morning, some slippers as well.
Just slumps
already in the
slumps
bathroom.
into the bathroom to fall.
Oh god, I got to do some haunting today. Oh.
It's on the toilet, and you come in the bathroom and sit down on it, at which point it kills you.
So
I'm waiting to see if that's going to be the truth or not.
I'm gonna say, so this ghost, once he appears to you in the bathroom stall, by the way, there's a theme of bathroom stalls for my ghosts and stuff.
Do you
just FYI.
just have a bathroom thing, Tom? Should we talk about this?
Don't at me. It's the Japanese.
They do have funny bathroom rituals. They've got machines there that you in the bathrooms that you can literally press to make the sound of basically flushing water, so you can then pee without people hearing you.
Oh, that's considerate.
It doesn't work when you shit though.
No.
Makes people think you're done.
But yeah, as I say, this ghost will appear to you in the cubicle, and it will offer you red toilet paper or blue toilet paper.
Oh god, it's
This
the
is some
Matrix.
weird Matrix alternate universe.
Would you like ignorance or the real world?
Now, out of curiosity, which one would you pick?
Blue.
I can't remember which way around it is in the Matrix.
Regular red pill is the real pill,
Yeah,
I think.
Blue.
So 2 reds and a blue.
Tom?
I'll take the red one.
Yeah, I'll
I'll
take
go
it.
down the rabbit
okay.
hole.
Okay, we'll start with the red one then. Actually, no, we'll start with the blue one. We'll start with the blue one because the red one is the violent option.
Yeah!
It's red like blood, you idiots.
Well, it was a double bluff, alright?
If the blue,
Wait, a double bluff would imply that it's still the blue.
if the blue paper is chosen, death will ensue, and it varies. On some ends, you are just strangled to death. And on, like, the more extreme end of the blue end, the ghost will drain all of the blood from your body.
Right, so still not good.
Ooh.
Yes.
What's the
Well, now I'm feeling quite good about taking the red paper.
Well, no, because
I
ours
would
is
be. At the
violent, Tom.
You remember what I said his name was, right? You remember what I said this thing's name was?
Oh,
Oh,
no.
If you choose the red option, the ghost will then proceed to lacerate you, take the skin off of your back, and turn it into a cape.
do I get it back?
I mean, yes, but you'll have died from blood loss anyway, so...
Well, Yeah.
Oh no, that's just
Please
making me think
note.
of like bloody
Please
going.
note. I also found this amusing also as well. If you choose to take any other color other than the ones offered to you, the ghost will drag you to hell through the toilet. He will drag you into the toilet, and the toilet takes you to hell.
What
love
if you
that.
don't take anything? What if you don't accept the option? Is it just hell as well?
There is the final option, which is like just trying to ignore the spirit or just not answering it. And in some cases, that makes like the ghost like leave. In other attempts, it will like try and block you into the stall in order to like make you make the choice.
It's a ghost. You can just walk through it.
You can't leave.
I love the idea, though, that someone would try and pick another colour. Like, this terrifying ghost has just appeared before you, and you're going to haggle with it.
Yeah.
What if I want yellow paper?
Oh, you don't have anything that's green?
was
Like, that
thinking
goes
green,
more with what
yeah.
I'm wearing here.
The ghost is like, all right, fuck
Yeah,
this,
it's just
drags
like-
you to hell.
It's like, yeah. I was thinking something more like a murph. Oh god!
Flushing noises ensue.
I love the idea that that's just a ghost that's just fed up with just basically people asking it too many. It feels like it's worked retail.
Like, I tried to look into where like the story originated, and I couldn't find anything concrete.
Oh dear.
So-
I mean, I feel like that's just somebody who locked themselves in a toilet and then like couldn't get out, so they had to crawl under the stall, and somebody saw them do it and just made up some horrendous bullshit.
So, that is the tale of Akamanto, the red cape or the
Amazing.
red mantle.
That's great. I love it.
I love
have-
that he makes a cape out of skin as well.
At
Just
what point does the
completing
cape
look.
get too
It's a very stylish
overburdened?
ghost.
No, I just like the idea of just like the ghost turning up and there's like red or blue. You just kind of look past him. He's just got this like very very nice flesh cape. It's like, I'm not certain I should trust you, toilet paper salesman.
How'd you get in my house?
Well, A, you just phased through the door, and B,
I
Matt,
wasn't deterred by the initial phasing through of the door, but now you've offered me 2 toilet paper varieties of which I've never seen, with a
I've never
skin
seen-
cloak
I've
on
never
your
seen
back. I'm a mighty bit suspicious.
I do not
Matt,
believe you are a
I didn't
toilet
say
paper
it-
salesman, sir. You have quite an eclectic yet gauche collection.
can I sample the papers before I try them? No.
Which is better ply?
You're going.
Why
right
is
in
the
toilet.
red one sticky?
Do
You're
you
going
have
in the
some
toilet.
previous customer reviews I can read?
You're going in the toilet.
Oh man, I've been out of toilet paper for 1 week since the crisis. I'd love to take yours. They must have been doing really well in the current pandemic.
I was gonna say, speaking of dragging people into toilets, I do have a second ghost that does that.
Might as well.
On with the
This-
toilet
Pray
ghost.
tell.
This is the one. This is the one that I was watching the anime for that sent me down the spiral for looking at toilet ghosts. Those at home will probably recognize the name Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. If you don't, watch it. It's a good anime. But it's actually... I don't know why they gender swapped Hanako for that anime, but whatever. The original ghost is Toilet Bound Hanako-San. This is the ghost of a young girl who died in a school bathroom toilet.
So she's moaning Myrtle.
Ronnie Myrtle, yeah.
Yeah, like, there were like, people also searched for.
God damn it, J.K.
They were
Rowling!
there.
You've stolen again. Alright, sorry.
I'll never forgive the Japanese! So, yeah, there's a... I don't know why this, like, the few things they've got on this ghost is she's a small schoolgirl in a red dress with a bobbed haircut.
It's a theme of red as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she
And
not
taking tips from the Red Cape's wardrobe.
She's the daughter. Let's bring your daughter to work day. Both come along.
I'm gonna say, so the cause of death for Hanako-san is like, it's one of those like things where it's like an old tale, so it changes. In some stories, she was like killed by someone or something. In some stories, in some stories she killed herself because school's terrible.
Yeah.
And I like the other one that they put in. In some stories, she was killed during a World War II air raid in the bathroom.
So one of the few air raids the US got on Japan.
I mean, they got the money's worth. Christ.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's one way of putting
Wow.
it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oof.
Big oof for Hiroshima.
Matt, can I just get on a T-shirt with a big oof for Hiroshima and just make Matt wear it? Because I want to see that.
It's like the nuke symbol, but the explosion just has oof written in it instead of like the mushroom cloud. Oh god, we're terrible.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Anyway, Hanako-San, back on topic.
Yes.
She has like a specific ritual to summon her. So less like Moaning Myrtle and more like Bloody Mary in my mind.
Right.
If
Moaning Myrtle's just there.
Yeah.
If
Along
y'all
for the
kids
ride.
remember
You don't
Bloody
need to
Mary.
summon her. You need to
Yeah,
banish
you
her.
spin
She's just
around
there.
in a circle in front of a mirror saying her name. And
Yeah,
then
with
stuff
the lights
happens.
off.
Yeah.
Sometimes candles are involved. Don't say Candyman because that's more violent.
Yeah, we'll get a
is.
different guy.
Although the guy talking, who is Candyman, has the best voice. So swings
he
and
does.
roundabouts.
Wait, I'm the Candyman?
Sure.
Nice.
Google for
No
the
wonder I'm so busy
Candyman.
at night.
Sorry.
This is my 9 to 5. I don't know what you're on about. Anyway, to summon Hanako-san, you must go to the girls' bathroom. On some stories, it says you need to go to one on the 3rd floor of a school.
Very
Don't
specific.
know if that. Yeah.
The floor
Well,
she died on?
I'm assuming so. Like, it's like the girls' bathroom on the third floor. You go to the 3rd stall.
Number 3 is important,
Is it
yeah,
number
I guess.
3 unlucky in Japan?
It's number 4
4.
because
Four.
the way
That's
I think
Is
the
it-
way
no,
it's
wait.
written in kanji is very similar
No,
to
it's
the
not
word
Japan,
death.
is it? It's China, isn't it?
China.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know. It's one of them.
Japan looked at China's language and went, we can do that, but better.
You can see there are several more efficiencies that can be made to your language.
Disclaimer, Japanese may or may not be better than Chinese language.
Oh god, and now we're talking about the Sino-Japanese wars. Oh, Christ.
we're not.
Anyway,
What? You brought that up.
Anyway, as I was saying, you go to the 3rd stall along, you knock 3 times on that stall, and you ask Hanako-san if she's there.
Like, in a particular way, can you walk up and go, hey, up, Kamako-san, you install?
What did you call her, Kamako?
I don't know.
You did not call her Hanako-san.
hey up, Kameki-kun.
Again, not her name, but... and not her gender now that you use that honorific.
I know.
Anyway, if Hanako-san is there and you open the stall afterwards, she may open it herself. I don't know. Some people,
Most
I don't
stalls
know.
do have to be
I
opened
don't
from
know.
the
I've not
inside.
met her.
Yeah.
They open like inwards. I don't know. But yeah, some people reportedly see Hanako-san there. Some people reportedly just see like a disembodied hand coming out of the toilet.
What? That's two very different things.
What is war?
Now, as I said,
It beckons you closer so you can be dragged to hell.
I've just realised I've written a 3rd note on here, but I do want to finish off the hand about the note about the hand and or Hanako-san, who will, as you say, just drag you into the toilet into hell.
Yeah.
The 3rd option that I only just realised that I'd written on this list is it says you may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard demon.
But why?
I don't know. That's just a thing.
Is that just a
If you make one mistake in the ritual, that can happen.
That's why you don't speak Yorkshire when you do
That's why
it.
you don't say Candyman, because the 3-headed lizard demon comes and eats you.
Is that related to her, or is that just like a general warning for Japan? Like,
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think you should just go faffing
Where
around
do you
with
think the
Japanese
3-headed
toilets.
lizards came from, John? Nuclear testing site much?
Godzilla. All right. Anyway,
I just want to like make sure
I'll sit down here.
that maybe pull the individual into the toilet, which may lead to hell, or the individual may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard.
Yes.
Oh, so I called it on the hand.
That was the hand pulls you to hell.
Oh, sweet.
Oh.
I called it.
It's a weird thing. Like I don't know like where this started, but apparently Japanese toilets lead to hell.
Is that because,
Like, it's a lot in mythology, and then, like, a lot of shows I watch also reference that. I've got Blu-ray back there for Panty and Stocking, and that also does that. And that is a show that takes jokes and just runs with them.
But it's odd that the when it comes to certain cultures, you do just get things across that culture which are just unexplained. People just accept they're there. Like Japan, toilets equal hell. Just the Tatars.
They just not
if
like
you're in
going
a forest
to the toilet?
strip, it'll be fine. Like it's weird. I did Google the unlucky numbers, by the way. 6 unlucky numbers in Japanese. Apparently number 4 is unlucky because it is sometimes pronounced she, which is the word for death.
Nisan Shi, yeah.
Yeah, and you tend not to have the number 43 in maternity wards because it can literally mean stillbirth.
Oh my god.
Which is real bad.
It's like how we don't have
how
we don't have 13s.
Yeah. In a lot of Western hotels, they skip the 13th floor or the 13th room.
Number 9 is sometimes pronounced coup, which is the same pronunciation as agony or torture. Yeah, and oh god, combs are rarely given as presents because they're called kushi, which if you're keeping up, basically means torture death. I love the idea that a comb is called torture death. Anyway,
I mean, when you're combing your hair and you get like into a knot, and you've got a real pull, it can feel a bit like torture death.
It does say that numbers 4 and 9 often pronounce yon and q instead. They just call their numbers other stuff.
Anyway, I've got a couple lines on another bathroom yokoi I found. So.
Oh, I think I might know this one. Yeah, go on.
What
go ahead.
Akaname?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, if you know it, Matt and Tom, Akaname translates literally into something. I want you to take a guess at what it translates to.
Aka was in the name of the first one, so.
Which was, what was it, the red mantle or something?
The red mantle.
I will say it's
mantle?
something I might call Matt as an insult.
The red menace?
Oh god, that's brilliant.
Right?
I mean, all I can think of is swear words.
It is not a swear
it's
word.
the dickhead.
I've been called
Famous
many
Japanese
things.
ghost.
Oh, it's just a giant penis ghost. The Japanese probably have that, wouldn't they? Well, they
I've
wouldn't
no
have
idea,
censored.
Tom. I don't know.
Okay. The Akaname literally, I believe, translates to filth liquor.
Yeah.
You can picture John calling
That
me
is a pretty good insult.
He licketh the filth. So basically,
That's why I don't obey the 3-second rule around John.
Yeah, so basically, like, the gist I got of this yokoi is it's this yokai. Why do I keep calling it yokoi?
You've got a Yoko Ono fetish?
Yokoi is something else, I think. Hold on, let me just Google that.
And
Yokoi.
it's porn. Anyway.
Oh, yokoi is just a Japanese surname.
That is literally hell. Sorry.
Anyway, yes. The filth liquor, as I will call him from here on out. It is a imagine like some. Do you know what kappas look like?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like a kappa.
Little Bob Cum Man. Yep.
So for those of you that don't know, a kappa is basically like somewhere between a big frog and a goblin.
Yeah.
Is that an accurate description?
But they got like what looks like a monk's haircut because of that weird thing they've got on their head.
Oh, for some reason they all have like weird haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just a Japanese.
this one I'm
ghost.
looking at has got like shoulder-length black hair. And a
That's
really
something, at
long
least.
tongue. And a really long tongue to licketh the filth.
Gotta have a long tongue to lick the filth.
Sorry, it's just looking down the list of yokai, and there's just one here. I don't even need to click on it. It just says Albuzo, the blue monk who kidnaps children. Just like, what do you mean, the blue monk? I mean, there's just a guy who does this.
There's just one.
There's just one. It's just. Oh, that's horrifying. Okay, alright, doesn't matter.
Anyway, basically, like, all the gist you need in this is, like, it's a strange goblin creature with a really long tongue, and it is said to inhabit, like, really, like, unclean public bathrooms and, like, lick the filth
There's a
from
bathroom
around.
thing.
No public bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have,
Just
like,
to
they still have,
clarify,
like,
I
public
do not
baths
go
and
around
stuff, right?
licking public bathrooms, despite speculation.
Despite rampant speculation. Rumours in the press.
Despite rampant speculation and video evidence.
Rumours of my habits have been greatly exaggerated.
Thank you.
Anyway, yeah, Tom, we know what we need to tweet later.
Great.
Yeah, start the rumour mill going.
So Matt can deny it 5 weeks later. Yeah, this is how we show our friendship.
I'm not even on Twitter. I won't even see it.
Exactly.
There'll be a Twitter storm going.
You'll be trending and you won't even know.
Matthew Fishback, world-renowned Phil Flicker.
And these are my favourite public bathrooms. As you can see, I've been quite concise on cleanliness in this particular corner.
We got him. We got on a mission on tape.
Yeah, we do now. That's all this podcast is for. We're just trying to get evidence.
Run out,
Your elaborate
Lee.
ruse.
Get the sponges and run.
You've tongued your
No,
last urinal.
you don't need a sponge. You use your overly long tongue.
Your tongue is your sponge.
All right, that's sponge tongue. Why? Anyway.
Oh dear. Oh
God. Yeah.
I'm just reading the Wikipedia page right now, and it says, the Pokemon Lickitung, which is depicted as a creature with a large prehensile tongue and clawed feet, as being based off the Akaname.
Oh, cool.
Lickitung licks your
I now know
bathroom.
that the Lickiting's tongue is prehensile.
To be fair, I just assumed that Lickitung licked everything because that's what he is.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a dirty,
So
filthy licker.
It's
And
great
he evolves
that
into
you
a
can just-
Pokemon with a Wi-Fi symbol on his stomach.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a
Oh
little
my God,
buzz
he
there.
died.
Oh my, he's gone.
He squeezed his headphones so hard he died.
Apparently, that did indeed do something.
So when John just joins back and he's got red and blue toilet paper in each hand.
Oh God.
Oh, you
wonder
see,
if I,
you see the red mantle demon just skewered on the halberd in the background.
Yeah, by talking about mysterious demons and entities, we're summoning technical difficulties.
God. Yeah.
The ghost that haunted that really one bad Skype call movie.
It's
Oh.
unfriended but more low budget.
Oh, it was so bad.
Such a
Anyway,
terrible film.
that is all I have brought to the table this week. I hope you were enjoyed
That
by
was
Japanese
glorious.
bathrooms.
that was
That
amazing.
was very interesting to learn.
Oh,
The Japanese bathroom saga.
It's very funny to read this. Nobusuma, a flying squirrel-like monster, possibly inspired by the Indian giant flying squirrel, which I didn't know was a thing.
I did not know that either.
Oh, that just looks like a possum, but
With
it
wings.
looks really angry. It looks really angry. I'm going to put that in the Discord real quick. Everyone carry on.
Oh no!
I
well,
believe it is.
it is me next.
It is yes. Send your fish back.
The filth licker.
Phil
Flicker.
himself.
That's going.
You've been
down.
hyping this shit up all week. We made a joke. We made an off joke about kelpies, and it became a running thing.
Indeed.
And now Matthew has decided to enlighten the masses as to what kelpies are.
Oh my
That's
God,
pissed.
that looks pissed. It looks so angry that you've taken a picture of it.
Oh wow.
It's a shame this is a
That is an
podcast.
angry squirrel.
Otherwise, I would show you.
Oh,
Oh, we
dear.
can always stick on it. We can always stick on the YouTube thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yes.
Yes, I have decided to research what kelpies are because it got me thinking. Because we were making kelpie jokes in, I believe, episode two.
Two.
The very first episode on Tom's fabulous small town soap opera thing. So I have done some quite surprisingly thorough research.
More thorough than I was.
And I have decided to name this little segment Kelpies, Scotland's seductive shapeshifters.
Seductive.
Seductive.
Very seductive.
I thought they were just horses. Is there something about Scotland I don't want to know?
So, we all know that in Tom's movie, TV lore, that Simon is an undead child that is
Was
almost
dragged into the pond.
certainly a Kelpie and dragged into a pond. But as I said, it got me thinking, what exactly is a Kelpie, and what do they look like, and what would Simon therefore be doing in his spare time in the lake? So, straight out the gate, I'm going to describe what Kelpies look like. So John's not wrong. Kelpies are often portrayed as, in like, generally speaking, some sort of horse. But more specifically, they are shape-shifting water spirits, which tend to be found across mainly Scotland, but it tends to be all across Celtic legends. So you get a lot of similar stuff in Ireland.
A lot of Gaelic nonsense, yep.
First off, if anyone wants to Google this, they are not to be confused with the pair of 30-meter-high horse statues currently sitting in Falkirk, also called the Kelpies.
What do you mean currently sitting in
to
Falkirk?
get past those.
Like they might move.
Yeah. Currently.
In case that they are real kelpies and often wander.
You did say they could shapeshift. They might just be pulling a big prank.
Yeah, Matt, can you confirm that they are not Kelpies? Because I don't
cannot confirm they are not Kelpies.
Can you confirm that the Kelpies are not Kelpies?
They're just two actual kelpies that have been imprisoned in stone.
I cannot confirm nor deny that these may or may not be Kelpies. Kelpies more commonly appear as midnight black or bright white horses with reversed hooves. So we've got a shapeshifter theme here where the monsters can shapeshift and their feet are on backwards.
I think it's like this tradition of like it's so that they're shapeshifters. How do you beat a shapeshifter? It's like the hero's got to be smart enough to find that one thing about them that you can't.
It's like they shoot the robot or the real person thing.
Who do I shoot? The one with backwards feet.
But you've always had backwards feet.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, by the way, the answer to Matt's conundrum is easy. You ask them to punch you because robots can't harm humans due to the laws of robotics.
Oh, there you go.
What if it's a bad robot?
Robots can't be bad, John. What are you talking about?
That's a robot. Anyway.
Robot propaganda.
Feel thicker 5,000. Sorry.
Commonly midnight black or bright white horses with reversed hooves. Their mane is often a mane of serpents. Their flesh is very sticky, and they often have a saddle and a bridle. So they're like basically, general riding gear.
So they've been ridden, or at some point, or at
Into a
least
pond.
preparing
I
to be.
will
ridden.
elaborate on the bridle and the saddle later.
Oh.
Huh. I've never heard the mane of snakes before. That's interesting.
Well, there was quite a lot of descriptions, but that was kind of the main one I found. That's the most common description. There is also another description which stated they had a long seal-like neck, a small head, 2 flippers, were up to 60 feet in length with a 70-foot tail. I only found one of these descriptions. I feel like somebody just saw a particularly big seal.
Yeah, that feels like just like
I don't think
That is
a
indeed the noise.
60-foot body with a 60-foot body with a 70-foot tail is not what I would describe as particularly big.
I mean, it's fairly large, Tom. You have to admit. No, I know.
Pretty damn
Anyway.
big.
I know. But
I would describe that almost as big as a giant sandworm.
that was probably a Stella's sea cow before they went
Well-
extinct.
This also technically links back because I've got some facts at the end, which I'll run quickly through. And this actually does link to one of the facts I have now that I think about it. Sorry, I've lost my spot on the page. There we are. So, either way, regardless of description, Simon is a roided out horse demon masquerading as a child. But
Yeah.
how does he divide his equine form? Hang on, that's a weird sentence. I'll redo that whole thing again.
Please do.
Don't
How
worry,
does
it's
he-
staying in.
Sorry, there we go. So Simon is either way a roided out horse demon masquerading as a child. But how does he hide his equine form? Well, as I said, Kelpies are shapeshifters. Often they take the form of wizened old men. But there is an interesting tale I found where a young woman came across a Kelpie who was disguised as a young man, later revealed to be a Kelpie to her.
Simon.
She then proceeded to marry him, and allegedly just made the Kelpie human. But that sounds like some bestiality shit right there.
Tale as old as
Beauty
time.
and the Beast all over again.
God damn it, Tom, I was trying to be subtle.
I don't know if Stockholm Syndrome has enough time with Kelpies. Death is swift to follow.
Yeah. If I remember right, they get you in the water and then they eat you.
Yeah, basically. But speaking of, just on an off tangent of Kelpies possibly, interacting on an intimate level with things, Kelpies have apparently been known to breed with horses. If a horse copulates with a Kelpie, their offspring will be identifiable by their shorter than normal ears and the fact that you can't drown them.
Oh boy.
Damn
I
it!
sure hope this has been tested in history.
Tiny
Please
ears.
Somebody's been
Aqua-breathing.
drowning horses.
I love the idea of like, damn it, number 7 wasn't one either. Like, how do you try this otherwise?
I'm imagining, you know that contraption they had to, like, drown witches in the Middle
Yeah,
Ages?
but, like, strap a
Yeah,
horse
but they're
into
trying to force a horse into it.
What, a ducking stool, but for horses.
A ducking
yeah.
stool, that.
Oh.
Jesus.
If you're trying to spot a kelpie in human form, watch out for seductive people with seaweeds in their hair. Is basically the go-to rule.
That's just like any creature that
Basically.
lives... Any seductive woman that lives in the water.
Yeah.
No!
Generally speaking, kelpies tend to be old men, but there are accounts of them being young women and men as well that kind of lure you to the water's edge.
To be fair, Selkies, similar kind of area, they sounded alright for watery women.
Maybe I should
Oh
do
yeah,
selfies now.
that's the next one. I literally know like all
Next
of
on the
these
list.
because of Persona. I'm throwing that out there right now.
Uh,
Like, oh yeah, I remember that. The water nymph.
So, what are the habits of kelpies? What would Simon be doing on a particular day when he's not awkwardly throwing bags at women?
That was Elliot.
Shit. Oh well, close enough. So,
Simon would
As
be awkwardly
Ghosting in the background, quite literally.
making sarcastic comments at his friend after his friend threw a bag.
And drinking more than them.
Yeah, winning drinking competitions.
well, commentators of the kelpie generally agree that they live beside lakes and rivers, waiting for solitary travellers. When they spot one, they seduce said victim, and usually through their singing, which I didn't know kelpies were singers. Bit of baritone.
I don't like the
maybe
idea of being
Celtic,
seduced by an old man on
some
a trip
opera
to the
singing,
lake.
maybe.
Just set up the karaoke
also
machine.
Can you just imagine just a horse singing to you as you walk by? I don't trust that. I might just try and get on. Oh, wait, no.
Depends on what the horse is singing.
Oh, just My Fortuna.
Would it have a Scottish accent?
My Fortuna.
I don't know. That's a good question. So they lure the unwary victim over with their singing. The moment the victim touches the kelpie, they're unable to remove their hand from the sticky fur, at which point the kelpie promptly drowns and devours them, leaving their victim's entrails on the shore as decoration.
Gross.
Pretty much. In other cases, kelpies have been known to ambush people in their human form, crushing them in a mighty hug.
Right.
So you just imagine you're
Well,
walking down
we've
the
got to
road and
keep
an
it
old
varied.
man just runs up and hugs you to death.
I imagine it's also almost like a suplex as well.
He leaps
What
on
gets
top
behind you? German suplex.
jumps you off your horse and suplexes you.
Crushed ribs and everything
Oh.
off the back of the horse.
I did find a lot of stories on kelpies and their victims. A lot of them seem to focus on kelpies drowning children. Almost
Oh, they
all
love
of them
children.
ending with the child chopping his hand or fingers off, which makes me think that Scottish children just run around with knives.
Yeah, well, yes. But I think the story I heard when I was, because I was young, Scottish thing was the
Back when
10
you were
children.
kelpie hunting.
No, yeah. Was the whole thing about like the kelpie and the 10 children, where like the
yeah.
9 siblings. Yeah, it
Yeah,
got
that-
9 of them, and I think the 10th one, it actually got its hand caught on its face, and basically had to chop off a finger to get away.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's why
like the
yeah.
traditional kind of story that revolves
Yeah,
around them.
it is.
So I'm sure you're all wondering, can you kill a kelpie, unlike the other two entities we've discussed?
I'm sure you could kill a Surale. I mean, if you can get his fingers trapped in a
Would
bloody
you
in a
tickle
log.
him to death?
You could probably kill the yokoi. All you need to do is clean your fucking bathroom and it'll go.
It'll starve. Yeah.
What I'm getting is we need to get all of these creatures into some kind of battle royale situation.
I thought you were going to say Suicide Squad.
Which one comes out on top?
The red mantle, obviously. Everyone's going to need to wipe their ass at some point.
Well, that is ticklish.
In the unlikely event that Simon turns out to be the big bad, how would our heroes slay him? Traditional methods range to things such as silver bullets,
It's always a fucking
Classic.
silver bullet.
which are actually said to reduce them to a soft blob of turf, not unlike a jellyfish.
I was not going to say, I thought you were going to say turd.
Yeah, close enough. You can also exorcise, not exercise. You can also exorcise
Thanks,
the riding
words.
gear that they wear, which is apparently just finishes them off. There are many tales of kelpies being captured by people using the halter and bridle and emblazing them with the sign of the cross, which basically means they can't do anything to you. Yes, Tom, your hand is raised.
How do you take a saddle off of a sticky kelpie? Just because you said you just need to exercise the saddle and bridle, and I'm like, okay, how do you do that if it's sticky?
Didn't say.
Just a crowbar and hope? I don't know.
I think the Kelpies themselves wrote that one in hopes to trick people.
I
into
feel like the
giving it-
vampires telling people to eat garlic because it's actually an anticoagulant.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Oh. But there are, as I said, quite a few tales of kelps being captured. The bridle of the kelpie is the source of its power. So if you get the bridle, you can basically command it to do what you want. The
Just
bridle
like a real horse.
itself, and I'm quoting here from, I can't remember the source, but I found it a couple of times. The kelpie's power comes from the bridle, giving them the strength of 10 horses and the stamina of many more. Feels a bit
11.
generic,
11.
really.
I was gonna say 10 and a half, but
Also, just as a side note, the bridle can turn people into horses. So I assume you
can
just
it turn
point
them
at
in-
them.
but can it turn them into kelpies?
Just to be honest, I'm just looking at this. It's like there seems to be no benefit at all from interacting with a kelpie. I know you can potentially get rid of them if you grab the bridle, but at the same point, you might just drown.
Well, you can,
or
if
might
you
hit
have
a
the
horse.
bridle, you can make
Pretty
them like plow your fields and stuff. But if you do that and then release the kelpie,
Just
the
get a normal
kelpie will
horse!
curse you. So you know,
get a
swings and
normal
roundabouts.
Just get a normal horse.
I don't actually know that if you breed a normal horse with the kelpie, the normal horse has kelpie strength.
They'd be like halfway there.
Yeah. Wow. No Bon Jovi. Okay. Anyway, to round up kelpie facts, this was a weird thing I found, which, despite like the legends of kelpies just going out of their way to murder people, a lot of people seem to be unsure if kelpies simply just want to hurt you, want to be useful, or merely seek human companionship,
Aw.
but have no concept of drowning.
They love too hard and they hug you till you die.
It's a Lenny, Mice and Men situation.
It's the Lenny horse. Well, it doesn't explain why they then think the next fix is to chuck your entrails on the ground on like the shore. I think that might be just hopeful thinking.
That was actually in the first draft of Mice and Men. They took it out later on.
Oh dear.
That was the reprint before they had to show it to school kids.
I'm just going to round this off with a couple of facts I found, which I couldn't fit anywhere. So kelpies are associated with devils due to the reversed hooves. So there's a bit of Satan iconography there that featured in a poem by the Scottish poet Robert Burns.
Oh, he's very famous, yeah.
Very famous poet. It is
He has a knight.
He does?
I think he said he had a knife.
Well, he's Scottish.
And
of course he has
refuses
a
to-
knife.
And refuses to take his medication.
It is thought that the legend of the kelpies originated from human sacrifices to appease water gods.
Yeah, makes sense.
Huh.
And going back to that point on earlier descriptions, that one about the big long one, some think that the Loch Ness Monster is actually a kelpie, which would explain that second weird description of it being very long. Kelpies also come with some bonus powers. They can summon floods.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's alright.
In terms
In
of power
general,
level.
like if you're by the water, you're screwed, basically. When their
The
tail...
water comes to you.
The water comes to you. They got lazy and was just like, oh, there's a stream over there. I'll just point and drown him.
You know what? Fuck it. I've done enough work today. Hello.
When the tail of a kelpie enters the water, it sounds like thunder. And they often howl to warn of oncoming storms. Which seems a bit weird. You wouldn't tell people about that. I would have thought you want to drown them.
Also, not only do the horses sing, they now howl.
It's a very talented horse.
Yeah.
God.
They do great in the entertainment industry.
I was just looking up about the Kelpie saddle thing. Apparently, it's just. Apparently, another thing about it is that if you get control of that Kelpie saddle, you'll have command over it and any other Kelpie. So it's actually not that bad.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I am
Yeah,
Lord of
although
the Kelpies.
Then once you get rid of it, you get cursed.
Yeah, followed by every Kelpie.
So, there is an Irish version of a Kelpie, as I mentioned earlier, which I cannot pronounce, but it's basically even more vicious, can also turn into a bird that has an 8-pack. I found a picture of it, and I love
like
it.
actual, like, some
oh
deer.
god, what's it like? The Ake Usegi or
Yeah,
something like that?
that's it. You
Yeah.
say that's what the
Usegi.
Irish kelpies look like.
Oh my god, that is majestic.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, they're weirdly human
That is-
and also hot.
It's
That is
just
a
missing.
hot horse.
You know what? I thought this picture instantly needs some of the JoJo menacing things around it.
It does.
It does look like something out of JoJo.
Got better text than me.
It also, as Tom mentioned, the Kelpie is actually quite prominent in a bit of pulp culture. It's featured in Persona. It's also in the Brothers Grimm. There was in that terrible film. There's a horse in there which captures children when the children touches them, and then it kind of sucks the children in. Also, I couldn't find this anywhere, but I kind of feel like the water horses in Lord of the Rings, like the water horses in the defense of Rivendell, maybe. Bit of theme from Kelpies there, perhaps.
Yeah.
And my final and favourite fact is that the Shetlands have a version of it which is simply called the Nuggle.
Yeah, I was looking up the other version.
How
of
are
that.
you spelling that?
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, I want to.
N-U-G-G-L-E.
I was looking up the other versions of it. Orkney's Nuggle, Shetland's the Shupelty, and the Isle of Man is the Cabelushti. So,
I feel like most of those, barring the last ones, are in Persona. So I'm like, I know that. Okay. Huh.
Oh, but those
Also,
are...
why, Matt? Why is it when I search for Nuggle, I come up with a chocolate bar?
I don't know. That's how the Kelpie gets you. It's bait.
That chocolate bar is like, it's got a box over it. You go for the bar, the box comes down.
And then you touch the bar and your hand sticks to it.
I thought you meant it was like one of those anglerfish. It's got like a box of chocolate in front of it, and that's how it lures you in.
Oh, but that is what Kelpies are. There we go.
Ah,
Feel
well,
enlightened.
we're not at the end of One Small Town yet, so we'll see if they become
Tom
more prominent in
furiously
the
making
story.
changes to the script.
to the end script. Also, like, just FYI, I need to be at a place by 4, so
Right,
I don't
okay.
know.
No worries.
No worries,
Tom,
mine won't
Take it away.
take very long. This is a more modern tale that takes place just outside of a small town called Elkhorn in Wisconsin.
Oh,
Wisconsin?
oh, I think I know this one.
this is familiar.
Just outside of this town, there is a road named Bray Road, and on
Yes!
this road,
Oh,
people have reportedly seen a beast.
oh,
This beast has become known as the Beast of Bray Road.
Bray Road.
the Bray Road is one of my favourite.
Fucking imaginative. Sorry, I just...
I'm gonna say I love how unimaginative this name is.
Yeah, the naming conventions just have really
Well,
declined
yeah.
throughout this podcast. So, basically got just a few witness stories of the creature and some facts about it. The
Air quotes
first
testimonies.
testimonies, yes.
Social proof. How could you not believe? People have seen it.
So cast your minds into the 90s.
Oh,
Podcasts haven't even been invented yet.
Oh,
When in the 90s? Because I might have been born.
There were actually conflicting reports over when this was. One
you're
source
gonna
said
say when the
1990.
90s were?
No, what this specific story? One source said 1999. One of them said 1991. So
In the 90s.
there was a lot of
I like to believe it was there
conflicting
around for
information
Y2K.
when I was searching about this.
I'd like to believe it was around during Y2K.
Yeah, maybe it caused Y2K.
It went around all the computers being just deleting their hardware.
Oh, what a shitty modern spirit.
So there was a woman named Dorothy Gibson who was driving down Bray Road.
Dorothy,
Yes,
what a
Dorothy.
name.
Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. Jesus.
Who I will be calling Doris for the remainder. Basically, she was driving to collect a friend's daughter to take her trick-or-treating, because this was Halloween night when this happened.
It's just Halloween.
Of course it was.
Halloween.
Okay,
Because
go
of
on.
course it was. She was driving down the road, took her eyes off for a second and felt something bump her car. Worried that she might have run over someone's dog or
Child.
something, she stopped the car to get out and have a look. So, hang on, I've lost my place on the page.
How is it that hard? I use my mouse cursor. It's not that difficult. I click on the Word document and it flashes where I was.
I just read the down and remember. I don't understand the difficulty.
So yeah, she got out to have a look, and at first nothing, but then the beast came for her. What kind of beast, I hear you ask? She described it as a huge muscular form. Which I'm sure you'll agree is a very vague description, which could really range from anything from like a bear to a werewolf maybe, to even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
To a stand.
He was out and about on Halloween.
It's just like, I don't know what it was, but it was stacked.
I can smell what he was cooking now.
Not knowing what it was, but knowing it was very muscular and stacked is a recurring theme in all the witness statements.
I don't know what it was, but it had magnificent abs.
You could see him flex in the dark.
The moonlight glinted off the biceps.
I just love the idea. I just love the idea of telling the officer, look, officer, I'm not sure exactly what I did, but it had like, you know the V? Yeah, it had that.
Yeah.
And just
Had the V.
Yeah.
So, obviously it was quite dark, it was already nighttime, and Doris was frightened, so she very quickly got back in her car and floored it to her friend's house.
The V does scare many
Did
people.
she ever establish what she ran over?
No, she never said. I think it's more, it like came into contact with the car.
It
and she
gently
thought people
stroked the
never
car with
into
its long fingers.
Yeah. But after she collected her friend's kid, she had to drive back along Bray Road because that was the fastest way into town.
Oh no.
And as she drove along, she saw something by the roadside.
Flexing by the roadside.
A huge, hairy, muscular form.
It's just doing a gun show.
Now, obviously, there are holes in Doris's story. It's
Really?
just one witness. It was a dark night. It was Halloween. Could have been
Wait, didn't-
someone in a mask playing a joke.
Didn't the person she picked up see it?
There's no. I couldn't find anything on the child's.
Wait, so she
account.
went into town to pick the, or went
No,
out
she
of
went
town
out
to
of
pick the
town.
child? Didn't take the child and then just
No,
went back.
She went out of town to pick up a friend's child to
Yes.
take into town and go trick or
And
treating.
the child didn't see anything.
There was no reports on what the child.
It was a really heavy mask that child was wearing. It didn't see anything. It's fine.
Because as we all know, no one named Doris Dean could be doing anything good.
Once she reported her story, other reports of witnesses from previous times began to rise to the surface.
Ah, yes, the flap.
Yeah. Once the gab got about town.
No, that's actually like a technical term for UFO sightings. There's like a UFO flap. Well,
Basically, you
once-
turn the bin over, the flap opens, and all the shit comes out.
I want to like clarify this so people don't think I'm talking shit, despite the fact I said it's about UFO sightings.
Well, didn't the Pentagon confirm UFOs were a thing?
Yes,
And
they did.
nobody gave a
recently.
shit.
What?
here's the thing.
All they did was confirm that hey, there's stuff in the sky. We don't know what it was.
Yeah, UFO just does mean unidentified flying object. It's just been conflated with aliens because it's often associated, but it could just
We
be
call
like
them UAPs now.
a frisbee you saw in the
call
corner
them
of your eye. And
UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon.
I was going for unmanned aerial prick, to be honest. Just like, well, look at that.
Well, it's more the facts that if we see something in the sky and it might not be like a physical object, it might be like a trick of the light or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, away from that side tangent.
The next witness I'm going to talk about is Lorraine Endrizi, whose name I'm not sure if I'm saying correctly, but I'm going to keep doing that.
I think
That'd
it's
be
around
right.
Lorraine.
But she said that she saw the creature in the 80s, but her description was a little more detailed. What she saw was a creature crouched next to the carcass of an animal, feasting on it by pulling flesh from the bones with its palms facing upwards.
So it had its palms facing upwards, just dropping them into the rock.
I guess like sort of palms upwards, shoving them into the flesh and then pulling up.
Like shoveling.
And yeah,
I can get that.
Too much.
and what's
What
Lorraine-
just asking.
Your acting is magnificent.
Thank you.
It was exactly what I was picturing.
It's just the idea of just trying to grip Sorry.
What Lorraine said was the most disturbing about this sighting, which isn't what I just said.
It's not that it was backwardsly trying to take things.
It was that the creature was kneeling like a human.
Ooh.
And this is a recurring theme in the eyewitness accounts, that people who saw this thing thought it had a lot of disturbing human-like qualities, like it was in the uncanny valley.
Oh, I thought you meant the recurring thing was people was going to say it had knees.
You won't believe it! I saw this creature, and it had knees!
It was pulling meat from the cargo.
Officer, it had knees. It was absurdly hot, and I don't think it knew how to eat properly.
Another description I found for this creature, I actually found on a Reddit forum, but I really like the way this guy described it. It's Reddit, so grain of salt as to whether or not this is true or not. He said,
All the salt.
I'm not sure how to describe its body posture. You know how when you're about to throw up and you hunch over on your knees and palms? It was similar to that.
Oh.
Its breaths were so deep and heavy, you could see its chest heaving from that distance. We had a 140-pound Akita who stood 6 feet on his hind legs. I could tell easily that whatever this was dwarfed the Akita.
When was that? When was that Reddit post from?
It was from like the mid-2000s.
Definitely not the 90s.
So they're still citing it then.
There's been sites of this sporadically up to the modern day.
Time before the Bray Road.
To be fair, we don't know when
road.
that. To be fair, we don't know when that sign was because that could have been a guy who saw it years earlier and then.
Yeah. He was talking about this a moment from his childhood.
Yeah.
This user.
Yeah, but I like that when he said that posture. I immediately thought of Zach being violently ill and in the tents at download.
Oh, when I stuck my head out, it's like, he looks like a wolf.
Yeah, it did make me think of just maybe this thing's just had a bit too much to drink.
I think it's just a drunk guy in a costume, like a really hot drunk guy in a costume, but still.
What we're hearing about is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's mad weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Lads, Vin Diesel turns up in a Sasquatch outfit.
Another eyewitness testimony came from a documentary I watched about this thing.
Oh, brilliant.
Which was brilliantly bad because
the best kind.
It had some scene recreations which used questionable CGI.
So good.
So
They are the best kind
one
of
person
documentaries.
described driving down Bray Road and the creature coming out and running alongside his car, which was going at 64 miles per hour and keeping pace. In the documentary, which is called The Bray Road Beast, and it's from 2018.
They didn't want to call it the Beast of Bray Road, which sounds better and is its name.
I've got a fun fact about why it's got a different name later on.
Oh, is it copyright claimed?
I think I know why it's copyright claimed.
We'll get there. So in
That
this
exhalation was
recreation,
John, by the way.
they show a wolf, a big wolf creature running alongside this guy's car, but it's not running with its arms like you would expect anything to run. It's got it like this. I don't know how to describe this posture.
So, is it?
the
Did
listeners
any
at
of you
home.
guys see the bugs for Andromeda, Mass Effect Andromeda? The bug
Yes,
running in that.
I know exactly
just-
what you were...
Going like this. So it's got its arms outstretched and up, or its forearms. No, sorry, its upper arms outstretched and up, and its forearms just kind of dangling down, and it's
Mass Effect
running along the car, keeping pace. It was
Okay. For
very funny when I watched it.
that just reminds me of bloody Beavis and Butthead Cornholio.
Oh my
honestly.
god! I'm gonna have to see if I can find a clip of that, of the Mass Effect crab run.
So when what was the name? Lorraine Andreezy first broke her story. A local newspaper, the Walworth County Week, hired a reporter named Linda S. Godfrey to write an article about the sightings. And she was a reporter and illustrator. And if you Google the Bray Road Beast, you will see an image of the creature that she did, where it is kneeling and has flesh in its up-facing palms. She wrote quite a bit about this, and she was skeptical at first. People, gossip got around, and people were saying there's a werewolf out on Bray Road. She didn't believe that at first, but after talking to all the witnesses, she claims she was so convinced by how much they believed in the creature that she then believed in the creature, and has in fact gone on to make an entire career out of researching this creature and other cryptids like it.
Huh.
Which to me sounds like, I don't mean to slander anyone, but it sounds a bit like she saw an opportunity to make some money there and went for it.
Yes, that's a case of many cryptids.
She is also prominently featured in that documentary that I watched, and
she didn't direct
everyone
it
in
by
there
any chance, did she?
says they believe in the creature. They didn't really show the skeptical side of it. I found it quite a biased documentary.
Like a lot of cryptid documentaries.
You don't say.
That reminds me, I still need to watch the Skinwalker Ranch one that came out.
Oh
Yes,
shit! Is it on Netflix, Tom?
I need to look. It wasn't last time I checked, but it might be on American Netflix, so get you sent a good VPN.
Yeah.
Awesome piracy.
Oh god, I didn't realise that. Sorry, it just said the first ever sight of it apparently was in 1936.
Yes,
Jesus.
the sightings date back that far.
But then they got real fucking big in the 80s and 90s, as you said. Yeah. Wow, weird.
Flap.
It's all about that flap. So Linda's articles are even compiled into a book about her experience with it, even though she herself has never seen it. She's just talked to people who claim to have seen it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a case of like where the people are so convinced they saw it, they appear that convincing, and then it kind of rubs up on you. It's
That's
kind of like
the impression that I got from
I don't want to say mass
watching her in
hysteria
interviews.
because it's not quite the same, but it falls in that vein.
Yeah, and obviously I think there are people who are just jumping on the bandwagon, being like, "Oh, I saw it."
It's like
God.
what's that family that were known in all the ghost sightings?
Oh god.
The ones that own Annabelle now.
Yeah, I know which
Oh,
one you mean. I can't
They
remember.
got
the,
a C, don't they?
Weren't they like the people with the Enfield haunting?
Yes, the
the couple-
or whatever it's called.
Amityville Horror, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, they were at both. They were at that and the Enfield Poltergeist one.
I know which one you mean. Yeah, the whole Annabelle and Conjuring stuff's based on them, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one of them
The Warrens,
called Lorraine.
that's them.
The Warrens,
Warrens,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Ed and Lorraine
the-
Warren. So, like I say, the impact of this creature has made its way into pop culture. There's the documentary that I've been talking about. There's the book that Linda published. And there is even a movie made that fictionalizes the events of the sightings of this creature, made by Asylum Pictures, who you may know from making such pictures as Sharknado, Two-Headed Shark Attack,
God.
Three-Headed Shark Attack, Five-Headed Shark Attack, and Six-Headed Shark Attack, but not Four-Headed Shark Attack.
No, they skipped to 5.
They skipped that movie for reasons we will never know.
Actually, it might actually not be that bad then.
I was going to say, given how good Sharknado has been.
Yeah, while those movies,
I
while
wouldn't
some
call
of
it
them weren't
good. It made an impact, but it wasn't good.
How fucking dare you? I mean, anyway.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's great.
But yeah. The movie The Beast of Bray Road, which is the Asylum movie, is not rated very well on IMDb and the like.
Imagine.
It's 4 out of 10 on IMDb, but on Google users, 88% liked this film. So I don't know what's up with Google users.
So I've just got a few theories. For my money, I think what happened is probably
Skinwalker.
it was hysteria or someone in a mask or perhaps some kind of wolf that got amplified in the telling of the story.
Yeah.
When you see like a creature on a dark road at night, your mind might play tricks on you and
It's a skin.
embellish your
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah, I was telling about I had experience like that the other like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told Matt about it the other day. It's just as happened that way.
There's also the theory that many of the witnesses that came forward with this story made it up, compelled by other tellings. And there is one final theory. No one was lying, and their eyes did not deceive them. There really is some kind of
Dwayne "The Rock"
half-man,
Johnson.
half-wolf beast on Bray Road. Or it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson having a bit of a rough one.
Fantastic. Oh, well.
Oh, and I do have one fun fact just about the town. Former resident Jim Rosloff went on to have a career as an artist for various fantasy role-playing games, including Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, good for it.
That has nothing to do with the Beast of Bray Road. It just
Fair enough.
came across it and thought it was fun.
Anyway, I hope you have learned something about what may or may not be living near you. If you live near a lake, don't go near it. If you live in Japan, don't go to the toilet. And
Ever.
if you live near Bray Road, don't.
Also,
You
always,
might-
or just wear your clothes inside out. It's safer.
Yeah, and just,
Will
and
that
just
deter the beast of Bray Road? Who knows?
I don't know. You'd probably be confused.
it won't deter the ghosts anyway.
Uh,
I've been Tom. There is another Tom joining me. Down below is John, who will in a bit lead us out with his fact that makes my eyeballs fall out of their sockets. And Matt has not dug himself a hole this week, which I'm very surprised at.
I know, it's a miracle.
Round of applause for
big,
Matt.
Big round of applause.
Oh, please.
Well,
I'd like
you
to
get
thank
one.
me.
Oh,
Just
even
one
though
clap.
he did say big oof for Hiroshima.
I still think if you had just basically a shirt with just basically a nuclear explosion on it with just the words "oof" in the form of the explosion, no mention of Hiroshima, I reckon that'd sell. Anyway,
I was to say, as long as we remove the Hiroshima bit. Well,
they
maybe
already
if we
did that.
get merch going,
Sorry.
we'll have that along with and Inquisitor
Anyway.
Conrad.
Two of us have Twitter accounts, me and Tom. You can follow us down there. This is going up on the YouTube. We may or may not have other links sorted by the time this
We're
episode
hoping
goes
to
out.
get it. We're hoping to
We
get
should.
it on, hosted and on iTunes and Spotify. And all
Spotify.
good stuff.
If there are other listening places that you listen to things to, please let us know.
Yeah, and we'll
Since this is
try
on YouTube, you can leave us comments,
Yes,
even
yes.
if YouTube deters people from doing so. It really does. I don't know why. Anyway,
Almost like they don't want content creators.
gee, how about that? Anyway, John, how about you, as I said, lead us out with the fact that will make me want to make my eyeballs fall out of their sockets.
that's
Make
extreme.
your eyeballs fall out.
Just cook them out. Right, because it's a special episode, I'm doing special facts. This is going to be a cryptid fact. So, first, this time, it's going to be about, the big boy himself, Bigfoot, obviously.
Aw.
It's actually how he fits into law in the US. Because in this place called Skamania County, Washington, it considers itself a Bigfoot refuge, and it's actually, since 1984, it's been illegal to kill Bigfoot there, because it can get you either a year in jail, $1,000 fine, or both. You can't kill him there. In Texas, you're fine to shoot him. Absolutely illegal. Hunt the bugger.
Good night,
Let
everybody.
me just make some notes on my US
I
trip
know where we're
plan.
going on the road trip.
Yep.
If we ever start up a Patreon for this, that's like the top tier goal.
What
Go
top
to
tier
the
goal?
cool
Come for
area.
us.
Kill
Come for us.
Bigfoot. Did anyone else imagine Bigfoot in like a jury in a courthouse when he said American law?
Yes, sir. I was indeed attempted to be killed by this man.
Oh,